I've been dressing for revenge. I don't start shit, but I can tell you how it ends. Don't get sad, get even.
Welcome everyone to Podcast 69 South, where we cuss and discuss true crime, cold cases, current events, and hot topics, along with our state of society today. This is your trigger warning. Our podcast content is produced for adult listeners 18 years of age and older. We discuss situations that may be offensive and triggering to some listeners. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Welcome back, everybody, to 69 South. I heard you listening to some pretty cool songs there. If you guys hadn't figured that out yet, we're trying to tell the story of our story that we're going to tell that day, in songs. And you really should be paying attention because we're going to have a contest here. I'm not sure exactly when, and we're just going to pop it up on you on Facebook. The first person to name the name of the songs and the artist is going to win some loot. But I'm your host, Chop, and with me always is my beautiful co-host, Julie. How you doing today?
Amazing.
Always. We got another kind of a kid diddler chomo story we're going to tell you today. But the difference in this one is it's got a whole different ending to it.
Some people will think it's a good ending. Some people think it's a bad ending, but it's an ending.
I personally think that it might have been the same kind of close ending if the shit would have happened to our 5 and 7 year old daughter. But let's get into the story so you know exactly what the hell we're talking about.
And we're going to start with the perpetrator. His name was Allen Cogswell.
So on January 2nd, 2018, a lady was at her home and she reported locating a Samsung Galaxy Prime Core cell phone in her house. And she said that phone contained images of unclothed children. The said cell phone belonged to her cousin, Allen Cogswell, who was living at the residence. So she called the law patrolman Coy, responded to the residence, and he took possession of the cell phone.
So whenever they found this phone, they took it and they went and downloaded it. And whatever they found on that phone led them to the parents of 2 young girls. And so these 2 young victims were taken into Susie's place for a forensic interview. And this is what they discovered in that forensic interview.
So as they were conducting the interviews with the 2 girls and their mother, victim 1 is a 7-year-old little girl. She reported that this Cogswell was coming into her room at night and getting into her bed and touching her private areas. So on January 4th, the mother of the 7-year-old, she was interviewed by the detectives and the people at Susie's place, and she expressed concern about how Allen Cogswell was having inappropriate or grooming the 7-year-old by buying her expensive gifts and displaying inappropriate affection towards her over the past few months. So mom was kind of seeing some fucking weird shit with this dude going on.
I wonder what kind of gifts he was able to buy for this 7-year-old child, or even what the relationship is between Allen Cogswell and the mother, because I'm thinking they found something on this phone that led back to the children and eventually the mother. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't specify how they knew each other, but she also corroborated that the Samsung Galaxy Prime Core seized by the cop was Allen Cogswell's phone.
That's a good point, though. What kind of expensive gifts to a 7-year-old? Maybe he's buying her like a Barbie BMW or something. I mean, what the hell would a 7-year-old even want that's expensive besides a dream mansion? So he was fucking grooming her, buying a little girl expensive gifts, showing her like overbearing attention.
And then
sounds like
getting in her bed at night and touching private areas he shouldn't be touching.
On January 5th, the detective executed a search warrant on the Samsung Galaxy Prime Core cell phone seized by Patrolman Coy. On the phone, they personally observed a folder containing 114 screenshots or digital copies of pictures found on the internet. The folder contained images of young white girls under the age of 18 years in sexually provocative poses and clothing. Of the 114 images, the detective located 3 images of girls that, to the detective, appeared to be under the age of 18 with their whole breast and nipples exposed. What a sick fuck.
So after the detective did that, they brought the original victim's sister into Susie's place to have a forensic interview.
The 5-year, she's a 5-year-old.
Yes, she was 5 years old at this time. And she corroborated what the victim was saying about Allen Cogswell sneaking into her bed.
What a piece of shit. So they interviewed this dude, and they got Allen Cogswell's punk ass down to the police station. They give him his Miranda rights.
It's Cogswell.
Cogswell, Cogsdale, Cogschmel. My bad. I don't really pay much attention to these fuckheads' names. Besides that, if you're Indiana, you guys are probably feeling my pain. As of tomorrow, Indiana, good old Hoosier State, has raised the cigarette tax $3 a pack. So my ass quit smoking 4 days ago. So I'm a little bit forgetful today.
Congratulations.
Anyway, they got him in there. They interviewed him. They give him his Miranda rights. And he agreed and admitted that he was searching the internet on his cell phone to look for images of girls around the ages of 8 to 12 years old and then creating the screenshots or digital copies of the images on his phone. Allen Cogswell stated that all the images on the Samsung Galaxy Prime Core were his.
Now, he also admitted to having another cell phone, an LG Curve, in which he would search the internet for images of girls between the ages of 8 and 12 as well and create the screenshots just like he did on his other phone. So he allowed them to search his cell phone after being advised of his rights. A search of the phone was done, and it revealed approximately 300 images of young children under the age of 18 years of age in provocative poses and clothing. Of the 300 images, 13 images contained explicit content, including unclothed female breast, along with images of female genitalia, as well as underage girls engaging in sexual conduct.
That shows you right there that it's kind of like a fucking drug to these people. It's not enough for this dude to have his little side phone with the shit on it, which you'd think these assholes would be smart enough to do that, not put the shit on their main fucking phone, have a, you know what I mean?
They can't help it. It's like a drug. They have to have it, and whatever's there to help them get that at that time, that's what they're going to use.
I mean, it's obvious. It is like dope to these fucking dudes. So not only did Mr. Cogswell admit to having these 2 phones, admit to having these nasty images of little girls on his phone, but Mr. Cogswell disclosed that it was true what the 5-year-old and 7-year-old said. He did fondle the breast area of the 7-year-old under clothing while she was asleep in her bed. He stated that he was sexually aroused during this event, and it happened about 3 weeks into November of 2017, but before Thanksgiving. Allen Cogswell disclosed that at the beginning of November 2017, he touched the breast area of the 7-year-old under clothing and rubbed her private areas over the clothing. He stated that shit got him aroused too, and then he pleasured himself while he was thinking about it. What a sick motherfucker, man. So, babe, what did they end up exactly charging this dude with?
He got charged with 2 level 4 felony child molesting charges. He also got charged with 3 level 6 possession of child pornography charges on him. And then he ended up taking a plea deal in which every single charge was dismissed except for the very first one, which is one of the worst ones. And he did plead guilty to a level 4 child molesting. And he was sentenced to 12 years in the Department of Corrections.
So he got 12 years for that shit. You would think, man, if you're touching little 7-year-old's private area, that shit needs to be a fucking more than a 4, a F4. And this dude wasn't no Boy Scout. He was pretty much a career-long criminal. I mean, you're talking about he's got battery resulting in bodily injury charges, public intoxication charges. He's got a disorderly conduct charges, resisting law enforcement charges, another battery against a safety official charge, another battery resulting in bodily injury charge on law enforcement officer, another battery by bodily waste. So that means he probably threw some shit or piss or spit or something on probably a jail guard maybe in that case. Public intoxication, and then you get to where he was a juvenile or an underage, illegal consumption of alcohol beverage, illegal. So this dude drank his whole fucking life, was in trouble his whole life. I mean, I could go on and on and on about his criminal record. So he ended up doing exactly how much time for this? He got sentenced to 12 years. So it was happening in
2018 is whenever they filed the case, January of 2018. So he spent
about 7 years in prison.
Yeah, and he just got out May of this year.
Could you imagine? I mean, this takes us to the next part of the story. Being a daddy and this dude admitting, this isn't even a case of, well, he was alleged that he did this or alleged that he did that. This dude went in and told the cops, yeah, I touched little girls. Yeah, I molested them while they was sleeping. So this daddy
has been stewing on this for
7
years.
Yes. Check this shit out.
We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's Chop here at 69 South. We have gathered quite the following of new and faithful listeners. In fact, we're in 72 countries and 1,600 cities. It excites the shit out of us, to be honest. We have countless downloads and streams. If you're a small business starting out or an accomplished business looking for some good advertisement, shoot us an email at 69southpodcast@gmail.com. The 6 and the 9 are numbers, southpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. We will send you a advertisement package.
Well, new details to share this morning on the murder early Tuesday morning at an Elkhart motel. Police have released the name of the suspect arrested and the charges he faces. Charges are being filed against this man, 35-year-old Nicholas Stanley of Elkhart. Now, according to witnesses, Stanley could be seen walking with a long gun looking into the windows of 35-year-old Allen Cogswell's room. When Cogswell opened the door, he was shot in the head and chest.
Looks like Stanley went hunting that day, and not for deer.
He was getting his
Lately,
revenge.
he's been dressing for revenge.
I wonder if he had been planning this, or, he had bumped into him somewhere and he just got so enraged.
He's sitting stewed on that shit for 7 years. His family looks like biker type people, kind of like us. And I bet every day he said, when that dude gets out, I'm going to kill that motherfucker for touching my girls.
Well, let's tell everybody what happened.
So on June 24th, 2025, at approximately 12:55 in the morning, officers with the Elkhart Police Department, they were dispatched to the Daylight Inn, room 251, located at 2820 Cassopolis Street in Elkhart. Reference to a shooting with injuries. Upon arrival, officers found a deceased male, later identified as Allen Cogswell, in room 251, who had been shot in the head and the chest.
A witness to this incident reported to the police department that approximately 15 minutes before the shooting, he observed a white male with a long gun look into the window of room 251 before knocking on the door. The witness said the male in the room opened the door and the shooting began. Numerous other witnesses reported the white male with a shotgun or a rifle fled northeast from the scene towards Menards after the shooting had occurred.
I would love to know what his words were him before he shot him, if he said anything like, "This is for my girls," or you know what I mean, or "This is for what you did."
Something.
You know he said something. I would love to know what he said. The Elkhart Homicide Unit was activated and responded to the scene. The detective arrived and reviewed surveillance video from Menards at 601 East Windsor Avenue in Elkhart and the Red Roof Inn. They're both locations near the Daylight Inn where the murder happened. On the surveillance videos, the detective observed a maroon SUV arrive at Menards at approximately 12:31 a.m., and a white male wearing a dark shirt with red or orange stripes on both arms and lettering on the front and the back of the shirt was observed walking south from the maroon SUV towards the hotel. The same white male is observed on surveillance video from the Red Roof Inn. The same white male is later observed running to the maroon SUV from the area of the Daylight Inn at approximately 12:53 in the morning and leave the area.
Using the Flock system, which is a network of license plate reading cameras that are installed throughout Elkhart County, they capture a maroon Ford Explorer traveling southbound on State Road 19 from North Shore Drive on June 24th at approximately 12:27 a.m.
So they got his license plate number for one of them license plate reader deals.
That's exactly how they did it. And then, they're all over the county.
I didn't realize that. We did some work in our construction business for a state cop not too long ago, and he was telling me, man, these things are freaking everywhere, and they register every plate that goes by them. It logs the time the plate goes by them, the plate number, the time, everything. I mean, they're even everywhere out in the country, everywhere. So beware if you're trying to do anything shady. These fucking flockies.
When you're out on the road, they know where you are.
Trust and believe, they are everywhere now.
Now, this detective was aware that the location is approximately 2 minutes north of the location of the shooting. Upon running the registration through the Indiana BMV, it was found that the vehicle was registered to a family member of Nicholas Stanley. It was learned that Nick also resided at the residence that happened to be on this registration. Now, the detective looked at Nicholas Stanley, and she had a copy of his BMV photograph, and he matched the video of the person from the Red Roof Inn.
Didn't take long to put that together.
Not at all. That was like less than an hour. During the course of the investigation, it was found that Allen Cogswell is a convicted sex offender and was released from prison in May of 2025. According to the probable cause affidavit associated with that case, as well as additional investigation of court records, one Nicholas Stanley, which is related to the victim in the case that Allen Cogswell was charged with.
He was the father of the 5-year-old and the 7-year-old that we talked about earlier in this case.
He is, but he's not mentioned anywhere within the case of Allen Cogswell.
So at approximately 6 a.m., the investigators from the homicide unit went to an address in Middlebury, Indiana, and spoke with Nicholas Stanley, who agreed to come down to the headquarters for an interview. Once at the police station, Nicholas agreed to speak with detectives after being advised of his rights, and he waived his rights. He advised detectives at approximately 11 o'clock the night before he drove his father's red Explorer down to the gas station, later found to be the Amoco at 303 North Main Street in Middlebury, Indiana, to purchase a drink. Then he returned home. Furthermore, Nicholas stated that he knew Allen Cogswell to be in prison. The detective Walsh and the other detective reviewed the surveillance video from the Amoco, North Main Street, and he is observed arriving there June 23rd, 2025 at approximately 23:52 hours, which is
About midnight.
About midnight. He is observed wearing the dark-colored shirt with the distinctive red and orange stripes down both arms, and appears to be the same shirt from the surveillance video at the Red Roof Inn.
So the detectives with the homicide unit interview Nicholas's family member. Now, during this interview, it was learned that Nicholas and him were both aware of the room that Allen was staying in. Furthermore, he confirmed that a shotgun was missing from their shared residence. And that was the probable cause.
Right. I don't condone murdering anybody for any reason, but there is a part of me that understands this dude probably lost his fucking cool. I mean, would I have done the same thing? No, I probably wouldn't have risked the rest of my life in prison for this asshole. Would it have been worth a battery charge to me? Absolutely. I probably would have took a 2x4 and beat his fucking head in a little bit, but I probably wouldn't have killed him. I mean, you just got to imagine somebody touching your 5 and 7-year-old daughters. I can't put myself in that position because it's never happened to me. I could only imagine what I would do is what I'm saying.
Right. And no, we don't condone any violence here because you know what? Who's really missing out in this? Who's really hurting all this? The kids, because they're not going to have their dad.
And they're teenagers now. So that was 7 years ago. So they are 14 and 12.
Yeah. And that's a critical
and now
time
their daddy's
in a child's
gone.
life that they need their father.
Yeah. So I wish he would have thought a little bit before he did this, but I get it. I mean, the fucking rage in him was probably too much for the poor dude to be able to control within himself.
You know what I kind of took away from this when we were looking into this case and reading what Allen Cogswell had did. I didn't notice the mention of him anywhere in the documents. So it made me think, well, maybe, the parents weren't together.
I mean, I wonder why dude was at her house anyway. You know what I mean? So.
Right. So that got me thinking, well, maybe the parents weren't together and they lived with mom and,
we're speculating on that.
Yeah, we're speculating. I'm just wondering because.
How he even came into the picture, yeah.
And he probably thought, man, I didn't protect my girls then. I got to protect them now. And he probably protected more children in the future, just to be honest.
Oh, absolutely, because this dude was fresh out, and he was probably looking for some more little kids to fucking touch.
It's just sad to me because the ones that have lost out in all of this, in both situations, are the children. Now, the children's aunt she started a GoFundMe, and it is for the kids, and it's linked on our page underneath the story of Nicholas Stanley being arrested.
Well, that's it for our little short episode today. We hope you enjoyed it, and thank you to all our Patreon members. And if you'd like to become a Patreon member and support us and help us keep the lights on in the studio, go to
www.patreon.com/69south.
Until then, everybody have a good morning, good evening,
Good night.
whatever.